Hello and welcome back to my craft room. I hadn't planned to make this video. I've just literally just got in from a day out over at Tom's and noticed there was a message from someone on Discord letting me know that there's a bit of confusion in the Facebook group about the Great Big Little Stitchery swap, which starts on the 1st of October. So I put a video out just the other day explaining what it's all about and suggesting that as a little optional twist this time, instead of making our fabric squares, have I got one handy? What did I do with them? So here are a couple of the fabric squares I've made before. Instead of doing that, I suggested that we make them as tags, half the size. I did mention that they would need to have some kind, because with the squares it didn't matter about the back. With tags, because they're going to potentially hang, people might hang them on banners or hang them on a tree or turn them into a book by clipping them all together, that they would need to have some kind of a backing as well, coordinated fabric or a plain back with a word stamped or embroidered on, whatever you want to do. I did mention about that, and I did also mention that you would need to think about the hanging loop, so you'd need to make a little buttonhole or eyelet, or use a crocodile if you've got one to put an eyelet through, or possibly just take, this is far too thick, but take a piece of ribbon or something and sandwich it between the layers of your tag, so that would act as a hanging loop. The confusion is that because I mentioned Anne Brooke, textile artist, and her 52 tags project, I simply mentioned that because of the size of the tags. That's how I decided what the size should be, and because that was just such a wealth of ideas for doing little pieces of stitchery, and I just mentioned that it was a good place to go for inspiration. I didn't mean that the pieces of stitchery had to be attached to card tags like Anne did. Having said that, if that's what you want to do, I don't see anything wrong with that. For me personally, if any of my swapsters want to send me a card tag with a little piece of stitchery attached, I'd be thrilled to bits with it. It doesn't matter to me at all. It might just be worth discussing with your swapsters if it's important to them, but for me, if someone's done me a little piece of stitchery, I don't really care. I don't really care what form it's in, to be honest with you. And I think if somebody wants to do a card tag, so this is the size the squares need to be, plus a seam allowance. You can see that the square I finished here, oops, has some extra fabric all around, because some people like to stitch them together into quilts. I've explained all this in the first video, which I will attach to this as well in case you missed it. The tag will be, so the square is 10 by 10 centimetres or 4 by 4 inches plus seam allowance. The tag will be 2 by 4 inches or 10 by 5 centimetres. That won't need a seam allowance, but it will need a backing. In my head, because I said all of that, to me it was obvious that I meant fabric, but maybe it wasn't, so I apologise if I've caused loads of confusion. But honestly, I don't see anything. I don't know if everybody else will agree with me or not. It might just be worth, as I say, checking it with your people you're swapping with, your swapsters, to see if it makes any difference to them. But if somebody wants to send me card tags with lovely little pieces of stitchery on, just like Anne Brooke did, then that is absolutely, I'll be thrilled to bits. So if you've already done that, don't worry about it. Having said that, it's a bit early to get started, so don't feel like, because you can see all this going on already, don't feel pressured. The swap doesn't actually start until the 1st of October. I won't even think about starting my stitching until then. You then have until the 31st of December. You have 3 whole months to actually get your tags sent out. They don't have to reach your recipients by then, they just have to be posted by then. So this month now, the reason I put the video out a few days ago is just to give us a few weeks to just connect with other people who might like to swap pieces of stitchery with us, put our list of swapsters together and start thinking about what we might like to do on our squares or tags. It's lovely that most people seem to be going with tags, and I hope all this confusion doesn't put people off. So if you missed it the first time, you haven't seen this, that's the optional twist. You could still do the squares if you want, but you need to probably agree that with your swapsters. and the optional theme is celebration, which can be interpreted in lots of different ways. I'm going to link to my original video about this as well. Also, Tori and I, so Tori of Cool Cookie Creatures and I, are both going to do a little video. They should go out within the next few days. Just going through the process of making our first couple of tags ourselves, just to give you an idea of how to get started if you're not sure, and perhaps throw in a few ideas about ways you might interpret the theme if you want to follow it, or other ideas that you might like to try, different ways of maybe creating the hanging loop, different ways you might put them together when you get all your tags back. And I had thought there was plenty of time to do that. I didn't realise anybody would actually start stitching yet. It's lovely that everybody's so keen. It's amazing. Anyway, I hope that clears up the confusion. If there are any other questions, please drop a comment here, or if you've got any questions, if you ask them in the Facebook group, I would say tag me to make sure I see them, because I might miss them. Or you can tag me in the Discord community, or you can message me in either of those places as well. So I hope that clears everything up. I don't think I've got anything else. We've got the live stream coming tomorrow. I'll put a link to that in the description box to this video as well. We've got some lovely giveaways up for grabs, and really beautiful things. And we've got 2 special guests. We've got Sue 00 Sue, and we've got Susie Q of Susie Q Makes. So we've got Sue Matt Art, so that's Sue Matthews on YouTube, and Susie Q, who is Susie Q Makes on YouTube. So we've got both of them, and they've both donated beautiful prizes, and I've got a couple to give away myself as well. So do join us for that if you can. Bring along whatever you're working on, or just bring along some nibbles and your favourite tipple. It is past 6 o'clock, so I've got mine, and hopefully we'll see you there. My son Tom and I will be streaming from here in my craft room from 8 PM to 10 PM UK time tomorrow. So yeah, I will put the link to the live stream as well. You can pop there now and set a notification so you don't miss it. Okay, I'm going to go back to putting my Sainsbury's shopping order on now. See you all tomorrow.